I am 31 years old. I do not have any formal education and work in a warehouse. I am somewhat happy with my life. My girlfriend encourages me to set goals, as I currently do not have any. What goals do you have? I just want to be happy and I am content with little, but she wants me to establish some goals. Story 1. I am 38. I want peace of mind. I believe most of my goals are mental. I have reached a good point in my career where I am likely to remain comfortable, and advancing is optional and often more complicated. One of my goals is to minimize rumination, overanalyzing, and catastrophizing. I want to stop inventing problems where they do not exist and get out of my head and into the world. Another goal is to celebrate my accomplishments more. I have achieved so much. Why not recognize that more? I have proven I am capable. Yet, I often default to feeling uncertain more than I would like. I also aim to feel more connected. This may not necessarily mean doing more, but rather focusing on where I am connected and nurturing those connections. Additionally, I want to stop treating everything so seriously and incorporate more humor, joy, and playfulness into my life wherever I can. Overall, I have realized after many years of introspection that the root issue of my problems is often in my mind. Story 2. Try not to abandon my family. I plan to fake my own death and resurface in the Baja region of Mexico as a leader of a pseudo-religious sex cult. Story 3. One of my goals is to spread a positive message to men, especially regarding emotions, self-esteem, self-acceptance, and personal growth. I learned a lot about emotions a few years ago, and to my surprise, my social anxiety improved significantly. In fact, many positive changes occurred. Do you think there are men out there who want to learn about this? Story 4. In my mid-50s, my goal remains the same as it was when I was 30. To earn enough to have a decent life and simply relax and enjoy it before it slips away. Story 5. I am only 29, but I feel similar to your situation. I have no formal education, work in a warehouse, and I am seeking more opportunities. Currently, my goal is to obtain a general educational development certificate, find a career that will help me leave the warehouse environment, and save money for retirement and a house. Story 6. The basic goal is to make enough money so that I don't have to work full-time anymore and to be more financially free. I want to find a good partner to share a family with and have a nice house to relax in. I believe that over time I will develop new goals, but for now I am focused on having a life where money is not the bottleneck, and it is just about time. Story 7. I have exceeded my career goals, so now I'm focusing on personal goals. I am training to join the 1,000-pound club, which means lifting a total of 1,000 pounds across bench press, squat, and deadlift. I would also like to learn auto mechanic skills to fully restore my dad's old Tacoma, which he loved, and a Mercedes 190E for my son. These are my main two goals at the moment. Story 8. It depends on what you want in your life. Do you want to climb the corporate ladder, go to graduate school, or buy a house? I'm not sure what she means, but make sure it's the right choice for you. Story 9. I am a 39-year-old man. I strive to be happy and have fun, travel as much as possible, take care of and love my family, lift weights frequently, improve my flexibility, and continually expand my knowledge, even if it is a slow process. Story 10. I am 33 years old, and out of the 8 pillars of life, the only one missing for me is the relationship pillar. That is my last goal, and I want to explore that part of my life. I am happy with the other pillars and just want to further expand on them, but they are not my main focus. I agree with your girlfriend that having goals is healthy. It can be something small like saving money or paying off 100 euros of debt. Just have something to strive for. Story 11. Learn a new language. Take in-person classes too, not just apps like Duolingo. It's a great way to learn about another culture and impress your friends and family. Story 12. In Canada, we have a government tax-free savings account called a tax-free savings account, TFSA. I believe it functions similarly to a Roth individual retirement account, IRA, in the United States. A basic financial goal is to maximize it annually, as it helps me avoid frivolous spending and gamify saving and work. Whatever physical recreational hobby you have, Pursue it and develop your skills within it. If it's a sport, find a coach and work to improve your performance. Consider entering a competition. If it's a craft or art, take classes and invest more time in honing your skills. Goals are a reflection of your personal values, so you need to determine what is meaningful to you. Online strangers can only provide suggestions based on their values. They cannot define yours. Story 13. Have 500,000 in cryptocurrency. Earn master electrician license. Deepen yoga practice. Complete 20 pull-ups. Get fit. Reach retirement in excellent health. Strengthen family relationships. Expand social circle. Finish building my V8 swap. Read more. Story 14. You mentioned having debt, and getting out of it is a worthwhile goal. As for me, my goals include enjoying a comfortable retirement, keeping my wife happy, starting a foundation for a charity I am involved with, and then stepping down from the board. I also want to inspire my friends to organize boys' nights so I am not always the one planning them. Additionally, I aim to develop a workout routine that my wife and I can do together to mitigate symptoms of aging. I want to visit Greece, learn to identify wild mushrooms, and encourage the crows that come to my backyard to tolerate my presence. Lastly, I would like to lose about 15 pounds. These are my thoughts off the top of my head. Story 15. I would like to pay off my debts by age 35, own a home, and hopefully earn a six-figure salary by ages 38 to 40. I plan to achieve my 4th-degree black belt this summer, play 12 to 15 shows this year with my new band while performing 25 to 30 shows with my current main project. I aim to go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week, lose some weight, and get fit for summer. I also intend to propose to my girlfriend by this time next year. I stay busy. Story 16. Learn self-respect, practice a martial art. I just joined a mixed martial arts gym. Find a significant other, fall in love, be a pillar of strength for my family and friends, and consider getting a dog or cat. Not opposed to having both. Story 17. My goal is to maintain a sense of purpose, which is something that may not be fully attainable but is ongoing. The biggest cause of a midlife crisis often stems from spending your entire life pursuing specific material goals, such as buying a house, getting married, having children, and owning a car. Once these goals are checked off the list after 40 years of effort, your sense of purpose can feel fulfilled, leading to panic as you may not know what to do next and question the meaning of everything. Therefore, my goals are to continue learning new skills and to always view the world with a desire to explore and learn. While I would like to have a wife, children, a home, and a nice car, those are secondary objectives. If I achieve them, they will enhance my life rather than define it. Making them my primary focus could lead to confusion about my life's direction once I accomplish these material goals. It's similar to longing for a toy as a child, and then realizing that it is not as enjoyable as the anticipation of having it. As adults, we often find ourselves in a similar situation, just with more expensive toys. While it may seem selfish, my goals are centered on maintaining my youthfulness and sharpness for as long as possible. Ultimately, when the time comes, my wish is to pass away peacefully in my sleep. Story 18. Short-term goals. Work out at least 5 days a week. I'm not ripped, but I'm in pretty good shape. My goal is to stay in really good shape. Read about 5 books a year. Pay off the remaining debt of $15,000 within a year. Long-term goals. Become wealthy enough to afford 3 children without worrying about money and still live a comfortable lifestyle. Maybe have a small lake house. That's my definition of wealthy. Also, find a woman who will marry me and have children. I was almost there. I called off my wedding 3 months prior because I wasn't ready. That was about 2 years ago. I'm ready now, and I'm also 31. Story 19. I am 37 years old. My current goals are as follows. Bring my girlfriend from the other side of the world, where she currently is. Plan to start a family. Acquire a house in a country that we will decide on for our future. Generate enough passive income to retire before I turn 50. It's challenging in the current economy, but we will do our best. Story 20. Being happy in life is not a bad goal. In fact, it is a great goal. Tell her your goal in life is to own a junkyard. Retiring at 40 is not a realistic goal for most people. I will retire before 60, debt-free, with no savings but a monthly union pension. Story 21. I think the important part is that she wants to be with someone who has ambitions. Maybe she isn't happy just being. There is nothing wrong with finding happiness in what life brings you, but being complacent feels like a promise of a lifetime of just floating by. Sure, that's enough for some people, but it's not for everyone. Don't you want to be in a better place when you are 41 than you currently are? Do you really picture yourself at 51 still working in a warehouse? You won't be young forever, and working in a warehouse your whole life sounds physically difficult. If that sounds great to you, maybe it's not about career goals. Maybe it's about life goals like starting a family. You should talk to your partner about setting some goals that would make you both happy. Your career and how satisfied you are with it will directly affect her, so she naturally has a vested interest in your success. Story 22. Focus on retirement and savings. I do not own a home yet, and I would like to achieve that goal. I also plan to further my education to qualify for a management position with a high salary, as my body is not as young as it once was. Story 23. No one should tell you whether you need to have goals or what goals you must set. If you like the girl, just share some simple goals like wanting to make her happy or wanting to have your own company to keep her engaged in making plans. Story 24. Happiness and peace of mind seem to be my goals. However, make sure you don't get too comfortable. Being overly comfortable will eventually lead to discomfort, which can disrupt your happiness and peace of mind. If you don't watch your eating habits, work out, and maintain an active lifestyle, but instead take the easy path, using escalators or driving everywhere, especially for short distances, and staying home regularly, your body will not appreciate it. It's perfectly fine to rest when you're actually tired. I'm not suggesting otherwise. However, if you remain consistently inactive, it can create a vicious cycle. Gaining weight, making it harder to exercise, and becoming active again. In a few years, when you need to run or walk longer than usual, your body will let you know that your previous comfort has made even simple activities challenging. Whenever I walk outside for an extended period, I start sweating, breathing heavily, and my legs hurt. It can feel overwhelming. I'm not talking about a demanding workout, just a walk to the store that's about half a kilometer from my house, or approximately 0.3 miles. So, be mindful of comfort. Story 25. There is nothing wrong with working in a warehouse. I am 33 years old and have worked in a warehouse. I have experienced upper management before, and it wasn't worth the stress. My only goal is to enjoy life with my family and friends. Story 26. Trust me, as someone in their mid to late 30s who has climbed the career ladder to a director position across multiple continents at some of the world's largest organizations, what matters most is being happy. I have experienced severe stress, anxiety, and depression, lost balance in my life, and had little time to spend with loved ones or do the things I enjoy. It's exhausting to have your mind constantly racing. It's important to have goals if there is something you want to achieve, but do not set goals for the sake of having them. Life is short, and no matter what you accomplish, it is temporary. Learn to appreciate the present. Embrace the journey, be grateful, and celebrate the moments. Having partners who help us become better versions of ourselves is nice, but it is crucial that this does not turn into a toxic situation where your partner tries to change you for their benefit. My personal goal is to find contentment in the little things in life and be happy with the basics, rather than constantly chasing bigger goals, comparing myself to others, or trying to meet their expectations. My serious illness diagnosis provided a harsh reality check. It is fine to want to progress if you desire it, but do not lose your sense of well-being, happiness, and contentment in the process. It can be difficult to regain. Story 27. As a man in my 30s, I understand the appeal of a comfortable life. However, my spouse motivated me to aim higher, so I decided to pursue my dream of starting a small business. It has been challenging yet rewarding. Now I have a sense of purpose beyond merely coasting. Striving for goals, even modest ones, can lead to new fulfillment. Story 28. Outside of the goal of eating pizza for dinner tonight, my focus has shifted to long-term objectives. Currently, I am considering opening a hobby shop and hope to get that started within the next 5 years. Story 29. I want to see every state in the United States and hike everywhere. So one day when I retire, I will know where I would like to live outside of New York. My current count is 35, and my favorite states so far have been Colorado and Washington. Story 30. The main goal is to find a lady who will challenge me to improve and keep her attention. Story 31. Just make it through the day and spend some quality time with my dog. I am trying to be happy with what I have and not feel bad about the things I have lost or the things I wish I had, which I may never achieve. Story 32. Retire from the military in as close to one piece as possible. Finish my bachelor's degree. Buy 2 or 3 more homes by the age of 45. Story 33. 1. Travel to Germany before the end of 2025. Place in the top 3 of my division in a 5K by the end of this year. Talk to the girl at the gym before the end of May. Story 34. Goals? What does she mean? Your education and skills shape who you are now, a reasonably content person. Goals like own the company you work for within the next 10 years? If you like the person you are today and you don't have a hidden past or responsibilities, you are achieving your goals. Ask her to define goals. Story 35. I want to study while maintaining my job. I want to become a radiologic technologist and work my way up to an MRI technician. I also want to lose weight and tone my body. Story 36. Nothing too crazy, but I agree it's good to have goals. My goals are to stay in shape, invest a significant portion of my money consistently so I can retire, fall in love, engage in hobbies that I enjoy, and excel in my job. Story 37. I am trying to be more decent. I want to improve my self-reflection and listening skills. I aspire to be someone with a calming presence. Story 38. My main goal now is to retire. I also have a small side business and am trying to decide what to do with it. Story 39. Finish paying off my current house and boost my retirement savings. Additionally, I want to take more weekend getaways with my wife and 2 kids. Story 40. Save what I can, have fun within my budget, retire one day, ensure my son goes to school, college or trade, but a scholarship is the goal, and enjoy all the experiences that happen in between. Story 41. Well, firstly, dive back into dancing. Look after your body better. Perhaps consider a full marathon instead of just a half marathon. Trim your beard down to the stomach. Should you travel overseas properly? I don't know. Story 42. Own a home, start a family, earn a 6-figure salary, finish and release the EP I am working on, and get back into peak shape like I was in my mid to late 20s. Story 43. I want to be happy. I think that's a good goal. Stay happy. If she doesn't understand that, make her watch the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. Story 44. To advance from middle management to upper management. Save for retirement. Help my child grow up to be happy. Sell my house and move into my girlfriend's house, and possibly marry her. Story 45. Take over the world. It is important to ensure that your goals are your own and not influenced by your girlfriend. If your girlfriend is pushing you to set goals, she may just want to take advantage of you later. Story 46. Retire by age 60. Visit each of the 50 states. Complete another Ironman triathlon. Help all my children find their calling. Story 47. Goals are for people who are not satisfied with what they have. However, sometimes you need to make an effort so that the people close to you feel aligned, sharing the same level of unnecessary stress. It is quite disappointing. Story 48. To improve at guitar, video creation, streaming, and recently chess, I have many hobbies outside my 9-to-5 job. The main challenge is deciding how to use my free time. I encourage you to find a hobby that is productive, challenging, or creative. Story 49. Your girlfriend likely wants you to have a goal, such as getting married and having children, along with the actions needed to achieve those goals. She probably doesn't want to wait until you feel somewhat content turning 40 in the same situation. Story 50. I am 34 years old, and my current goal is to be fit by the time I turn 40. I am halfway through a weight loss journey, having lost 20 out of 40 kilograms, and once I achieve that, I will focus on building a strong and healthy body that will support me into my 40s and beyond. I aspire to own a house and work part-time or run my own business someday. However, I am just returning from a period of stress and burnout, which partly contributed to my weight gain. Therefore, my primary focus right now is to improve my health. Story 51. I am also 31 years old. I believe there is a competition among all living things to be the biggest and strongest. I am currently 5 feet 11 inches tall and weigh 220 pounds. Leaner than I can possibly be. I know I have a long way to go, but I would like to be the biggest and strongest of all living things by the time I am 40. Story 52. I want to redesign my back porch to have a screened-in area, a hot tub, and a small wet bar for my wife and me. I envision a TV on a swing mount, sound-activated mood lighting, and a small fridge for drinks within arm's reach. Story 53. Turning that next year. I will finish my master's degree, get in better shape, find a good partner to settle down with, and buy a home. I aim to enjoy life every day I'm alive. Story 54. Make enough money to know I can quit my full-time job without risking financial problems in old age, including going broke or losing my home due to medical expenses. Then quit that job. If that takes too long, find another job in the meantime, and then return to the first 2 steps. Spend more time at my cabin in rural Michigan, which I haven't seen in almost 5 years, but only when the weather is warm and pleasant. Probably continue living in Arizona. Travel more frequently. Continue to avoid contracting COVID-19, as I have so far. Story 55. Almost 39 here. Physical. I'd like to improve my mile time. Essentially, you take your deadlift in pounds, and every 100 pounds corresponds to 1 minute. If you run a 6-minute mile, you can complete this challenge by deadlifting 600 pounds. A 6:30 mile requires a 650-pound deadlift, and so on. I've always had a strong deadlift, but have been a mediocre runner. This is something I'm actively trying to improve. My goal is currently a 600-pound deadlift and a 6-minute mile. My current deadlift personal record is 562 pounds, and my current mile personal record is 7:21. I have a long way to go. Familial. The day my son was born 4 years ago, I became a father first and a husband second. My family goals are straightforward. Parent gently but firmly. Spend as much time with my sons as they want, and never be too busy for family. Professional. I've been excelling at my job lately and want to continue, but never in a way that interferes with family. Story 56. She just wants you to improve yourself and have a career instead of staying in a warehouse your entire life. Most warehouse positions are dead-end jobs. I think she just wants reassurance that you have goals for self-improvement and career advancement. Story 57. Buying a house is challenging. It seems like one of the hardest achievements to master in life, as if it were a game. Story 58. I am about to turn 48 years old. Financial goals. Build up the trust fund I created for my 2 sons to help them get a degree and a house deposit. Fitness goals. Maintain my weight and fit into the clothes I purchased in 2018, before COVID. Relationship goals. Ensure that I never take my wife for granted, and just as importantly, ensure she never takes me for granted. Career goals. I am happy with my current job and have no ambition to climb higher on the corporate ladder, as it would be costly for my family life. My goals here are to keep my skills set up to date so I can continue earning well and focus on my other priorities. Story 59. To find a partner, advance in my career, travel with that partner, and eventually have children. I also want to become a professional golfer, but considering I lose 10 balls a round, I might need more practice. Story 60. To sit with a cup of coffee on the porch, breathing in fresh air, knowing I have no stress and can simply appreciate the fact that I am alive on this speck of dust floating through space. Story 61. I want to marry my fiancée within the next 5 years, get promoted at least once at work, and buy a house. Story 62. At the moment, I want to work towards becoming a director, travel more, get fitter, live happily with my partner, and play more games. Story 63. I achieved my goals of starting a family and getting married, completing solo skydiving, bungee jumping, riding motorcycles, and establishing a respectable career. In the future, I aim to build muscle, own a classic summer car, and have a house with 3 garage doors located not too far from my parents. I want to teach my children survival skills and equip them with the tools to navigate life. I look forward to watching my kids grow. I also hope to own a boat and an RV for travel. I want to share all of this with my wife as we both maintain our health throughout our lives. Additionally, I aspire to obtain a pilot's license that doesn't cost $90,000, as that is the typical price in Canada, and to reach Dan level 6 or 7 in Kendo. Story 64. Stay employed. I am comfortable where I am now and have lost the desire to progress. I just want to enjoy life. I want to travel more of the world with my long-distance relationship girlfriend of almost 2 years. We recently returned from our first international trip in the winter, where we spent about a month abroad. We usually spend time together once a month for weekend couple weeks at a time. Eventually, we plan to move in together, purchase a place, and obtain new citizenship. I aim to become more proficient in language learning and make progress with my video game backlog, as I am quite behind. Story 65. Does she think you are lazy for not having goals and being happy with your life? Goals are something you set because you want them. Someone else pushing things on you isn't going to lead to a happy life, which is most people's end goal. I had the goal of getting my master's degree and becoming a certified public accountant. I set that goal for myself because I wanted to prove to myself that I could be successful and do whatever I set my mind to. I achieved that goal. Now I have worked in the industry for a few years, and the world isn't headed in the right direction, so building up for a future doesn't really make much sense anymore. My goal is to enjoy the present as much as possible and find a way to work as little as possible while still having the money necessary to have fun and travel. Story 66. I am turning 30 in a couple of months, and I want my business to become my main source of income. I also want to finish writing my book and run an ultramarathon. Story 67. I am finishing a programming bootcamp to retool my skills. I am also pursuing a micromasters in finance through edX. I have various books to read, profit goals for day trading, sales targets at work, and financial aspirations related to net worth and income. I have deadlines for completing the bootcamp and finance courses, and I aim to enter and finish a master's program. Additionally, I would like to move and buy a house, which is another near-term goal. Story 68. Complete 700-pound deadlift, finish renovation of my Washington, D.C. condo, and return to forensics on a part-time or volunteer basis. Story 69. 1. Gym goals. I am trying to get my vertical jump back to 36 inches and a 600-pound conventional deadlift, then 660 pounds if I reach 600. Language goals. I want to maintain and improve my Spanish, Italian, and French. I have reached an advanced level in Spanish and Italian, while French is my native language. Since I no longer live at home, I make efforts to engage in French to maintain it. I plan to return to studying Russian and Korean at some point and continue with my Mandarin studies. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I will keep training and working to improve. Currently, I need to enhance my attacking and control from the back as well as my guard attacks. Writing. I aim to finish my book, which is about 70,000 words so far. Reading. I have set a target of reading 12 books a year, but I usually end up reading between 25 and 30 across all languages. Story 70. If you are content with how things are, that is great. If you are at peace with no worries, then you have succeeded. For goals, aim for something that challenges you mentally, physically, or emotionally. Go camping. If you enjoy barbecuing, enter a contest. If you want to take a road trip down Route 66, or if you like Marvel and DC, attend a comic convention. If you don't know how to cook, there is nothing wrong with trying out a few cooking classes as a couple. Story 71. To save and travel extensively, maintain stability, achieve great health, and enjoy what life has to offer. Story 72. I'm just trying to make it to tomorrow. I suppose my goal is to get healthy. Story 73. My main life goal right now is to seek a fresh start by moving out of state. I have many bad memories in my hometown. I'm tired of my family thinking I am completely like my violent, deranged older twin when they know we have never been alike and have been polar opposites for most of our lives. Most of my family wants to reunite us, but the damage is done. I can't trust him ever again after everything he did. If I can pull this off, none of my family will know where I am, and I can finally be free to be my own distinct person without all this nonsense following me into my new life. I can finally be a normal person instead of the freak of nature I feel like here. Story 74. Same as they were before, to crush my enemies, see them driven before me, and hear the lamentations of their women. Story 75. I am 55 years old and really do not have any concerns. I am very content not doing a lot, which may not be a benefit to my partner. Story 76. Sometimes it is okay to just be. If you don't have professional ambitions, think about other things. Learn a language, see the Great Wall of China, snorkel in Hawaii, and so on. Explore some of your other dreams or things that you would like to pursue. I suggest reading more books and reflecting on what you are good at, considering how you could engage in those activities more. You might want to have a conversation with her about what you both want and why. My goals? Be a great dad and get back into some of my hobbies that were put aside during COVID and my divorce. I am already quite successful in many areas, including my career. I have reached a point where I am satisfied and have even turned down promotions because spending time with my kids is more important than a new title or position. I wish you and your partner the best in coming to an understanding of what you both want. Story 77. To have a full bodysuit of tattoos covering my entire torso, both legs and both arms, stopping at the wrist and base of my neck, and possibly extending beyond if goals are exceeded. Story 78. I am trying to finish my degree, find a job, and become stable again. Life recently gave me a hard reset, so I just want to be independent and stable. Story 79. I am happy with where I am in life. My only goal is to find someone to spend the rest of my life with. Story 80. To stop having anxiety attacks and to build some routines. A significant other would be a nice addition. Story 81. Be 39 next month. I just want to get my kids out of the house. They are 19, 17, and 16. That is my only real goal. After that, I do not really care what happens. I would be fine if it were over then. I make more money than I ever have before by a wide margin, and yet I still cannot do anything I would really like to do. I hate my job a lot. The work I do is very niche, so it is either this exact position or something unskilled and much less paid. Retirement is a joke. But even if I committed and put everything towards that, then what? I do not look forward to anything. I do not enjoy travel. My selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors make getting out of bed tolerable, but that is about it. Story 82. In no specific order. 1. Get in shape. 2. Maximize retirement savings. 3. Travel to new places. 4. Get married. 5. Visit all Major League Baseball stadiums. 6. Find a hobby. These are a few of my goals. Create a bucket list of things you want to do before you die. Story 83. Maintain good health for myself and my family. Achieve a net worth of over $10 million by age 45. Learn Portuguese to communicate with my in-laws. Fly my family business class on all international trips. Story 84. My goal is to have clear objectives. I am nearing 38 and have not planned much so far, and I have been feeling somewhat aimless recently. Story 85. Achieve financial independence, own my resources, have a farm, and own land that can sustainably feed me and my family. Story 86. Determine whether she is asking you to do more with your life or to be passionate about other things. If it's the first, she may be suggesting you get a new job or seek a promotion. If it's the second, focus on mental health and consider activities like hiking, fishing, hunting, or off-roading. Story 87. Write a book and get it published. It seems doable, and I have had the urge my whole life since I was a kid, but I never had the motivation to sit down and map out and write an entire book. Story 88. Take first place in my age group in half marathons this year. Complete my technical scuba certification. Complete cave diving certification. Volunteer with ghost divers to remove fishing nets in the ocean that are harming marine life. Take first place in the High Rocks age group. Story 89. Currently, I am working towards a new career path that should lead to better financial opportunities. I am focusing on my health and changing some bad habits. I am striving to correct the mistakes I have made regarding my body and life choices up to this point. Story 90. Get my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I'm probably a year and a bit away from it. Participate in tournaments again and keep the rest of my life running as smoothly as the past 5 years have been for me. Story 91. Currently, I am working towards a new career path that should lead to better financial opportunities. I am focusing on my health and changing some bad habits. I am trying to correct the mistakes I have made regarding my body and life choices up until this point. Story 92. I am 41 years old and in the process of buying my first house. I organized my life a little later than most, but it is better late than never. I want to watch my children grow up, get married, and have children of their own. I aim to pay off my house, retire, and spend quality time with my wife while traveling. I hope to avoid all major health issues and pass away peacefully in my sleep at the age of 93. Story 93. I just became a journeyman electrician. My immediate goal is to build a customer base in the 2 years it takes to accumulate enough hours to take my master electrician exam. After I become a master, I would like to have my own business. It doesn't matter to me if it's big or small. I just want to be as independent as possible, and that's the way forward in this world. As far as personal goals go, I aim to be both physically and mentally fit to achieve longevity and get as close as possible to the person I've always envisioned myself to be. After that, I am not really sure, but that's my 5-year plan. Story 94. I would say that you work in a warehouse, and that's not likely something you can continue doing physically for the next 30 years. You will need to develop a plan for what comes next, as preparing for that could be part of your goal. I understand your feelings. At 39, I have reached a good point in my life. I am happy with where I am, what I do for a living, and who I spend my time with. My goal is to have 2 of the 3 objectives on my retirement list completed by age 50. I have a target for the total amount of investments, the house paid off, and my son settled into his life. Story 95. Reddit is not the best place to ask this question. Many people browse the internet for entertainment, looking for excuses to avoid taking action. On average, married men live 12 years longer than unmarried men. Men without children often face crippling loneliness in their old age. Family is crucial, which means you should be prepared to provide for your loved ones. It is also important to be the kind of person capable of growth, as parenting requires development. Your girlfriend wants to know you are someone she can rely on in a crisis. It's wonderful that you are satisfied with your life. We all need to focus on our own happiness. However, life can be challenging, and those who do not push themselves towards growth are more vulnerable to being overwhelmed by difficulties. Trees grown in the wind are stronger than those grown in greenhouses. Why? Because wind causes trees to release a hormone that strengthens wood. Exposure to challenges makes us stronger. Story 96. To be able to self-validate would make me truly happy. I still rely on women way too much to confirm that I am attractive and have value. Story 97. I suggest you plan to ensure you have adequate income by the time you turn 65. Working until you die will not be enjoyable. Story 98. Almost 30. I hope I have the courage to start over, pursue what I want, and maintain discipline and persistence. Story 99. How old is she? I had a dream of becoming the Secretary of Energy until I entered the workforce and realized I didn't want to be tied to my job. Instead, I found happiness in hobbies and strengthening personal connections. People change as they age and enter different phases of life. Being debt-free is the best foundation for a business, a marriage, or a new job. There isn't a better goal than becoming debt-free. Being debt-free gives you the freedom to do whatever you want. She may never stop dreaming big, and that's a beautiful thing. I asked about her age because a few years of work outside of college tend to make people more realistic and help them appreciate what they have. Story 100. She just doesn't want to date a boring person. Interesting people are engaged in various activities, explore new places, and are curious about different things. If you prefer not to be like that, then that's fine. Story 101. I have no real goals. I am 34 years old and live my life day by day while bringing positivity into the world with every interaction. I would like to be like Uncle Iroh and also see the return of Halley's Comet. Story 102. I am 31 years old and I left the military 2 years ago. I have been attending school since then. I will graduate next semester, and I hope to return to Japan to build my career there. Currently, my goals are to pass my classes and enjoy the upcoming events and concerts I have planned for this month and next. After that, I will prepare to study in Berlin for the summer. I believe it is beneficial to have goals, as they provide something to look forward to. Story 103. Professional. Publish papers related to my thesis and secure a leadership position before the age of 40. Personal. Play one movement of a Beethoven concerto, learn the 4 common swimming techniques, and learn to paint pets in watercolor. Story 104. Money and work. 1. Pay off my apartment 10 years remaining. 2. Pay off my car 3 years remaining. 3. Maintain a steady income. Life. 1. Spend time with the children. 2. Be the best version of myself as a father. 3. Spend time with friends. 4. Exercise for improved appearance and overall health. Story 105. I am a 32-year-old man and single. What are your goals? Step 1. If you don't go to the gym, start. It will strengthen your mind. Step 2. Read. I find it easiest to read first thing in the morning. I choose books that help me improve my life and offer ideas to make it easier. That should get you started. Story 106. Just to see what happens. I don't really know what to expect from life, and I don't really know what I want from it. So, I guess I just want to see what happens as long as I try to seek joy while being honorable. Story 107. Working on investing in myself, I want to learn a trade in plumbing, as well as return to university to study biomedical science. I also want to learn salsa dancing, how to repair and maintain a car, and a few extra languages, including Brazilian Portuguese, Russian, Mandarin, Swahili, and Arabic. Additionally, I want to learn some martial arts. I realized some time ago that I love learning, and I am happiest when I am doing so. A goal of mine is to own a tiny home. I do not aspire to have a mansion or penthouse. Story 108. I am 55 years old and pursuing a degree in structural engineering. While I am the oldest in my class by 20 years, I have 30 years of hands-on experience, which feels a bit like cheating. I am mainly seeking advancement in my career, but I also enjoy exploring the reasons behind some of the things I have built over the years. Additionally, I am realizing that my dislike for math has persisted since elementary school. Story 109. Finish graduate school. Work until I have a few good years left. Retire to farm with dogs. Spoil my grandchildren. Story 110. I'm 39 now, and it's taken me years to establish where I'm at. Dealing with immigration and a failed marriage in my 20s. My goals are to lose another 17 pounds and box more, participating in a few more fights like I pursued in my 20s before marriage changed my path. One day, I hope to open a gym and train people full-time. I also want to have a couple of kids and eventually own a house. Living in Canada, homeownership is challenging due to expenses and property taxes. I aim to be stronger at 50 than I am now. Additionally, I want to prove everyone wrong who says I'm too old to pursue my goals. Story 111. I am 33 years old and I am aiming to earn my black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Currently, I hold a white belt, so it will take some time. I am going back to school online because I dislike my job and want to leave the trucking industry. I would like to travel more. Achieving some weight loss would be beneficial. I am also committed to being the best dad I can be. Story 112. Travel to as many national parks as I can, sharing the experience with anyone willing and able while maintaining my personal values and principles. Story 113. My current goal is to find a condominium so I can get out of this nonsensical rental situation. My apartment complex, where I have been staying for 5 years, was bought by the Connor Group, and they increased my base rent by $200. They are also charging me $100 for cable, which is non-negotiable, and approximately $70 for trash, water, and sewage. Story 114. Becoming a better musician, releasing a solo album, probably in the lo-fi genre. I aim to be a better boyfriend and father to my wonderful 8-month-old. Story 115. Do you have any hobbies? If work is going well, this can be a great way to stay mentally engaged and have something to pursue. Story 116. Health is wealth. If you are not in shape, get in shape. It will pay off in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. Story 117. I just want to be happy and have children who are happy and financially on par with their peers. I grew up as a poor kid, often hanging out with wealthier friends, and missed out on many experiences we couldn't afford. I am quite happy these days, simply coasting along until I have children. Story 118. It sounds like you need to have a serious conversation with your girlfriend. Do you have children? If not, how do you plan to support them in the future? Are you interested in marriage? If not, perhaps she is. It's important to have an open and honest discussion. If necessary, consider seeking the help of a couples counselor. She might be pregnant right now. Honestly, it seems like she is ready for the next phase of life and is trying to understand where you stand. Be truthful and don't lead her on if she desires more than you are willing to give. Story 119. Single-family home on a decent amount of property with minimal neighbors. To become self-sufficient. Be debt-free. Story 120. I want to deadlift 700 pounds and win another strongman contest. I have won one, and my best deadlift is 660 pounds. Achieved in February, so I am close. Story 121. May I ask how you plan for older age and any savings you may have? I wish I could also do what I love, but I am worried about being okay in retirement. Story 122. I'm content with the little I have, but she wants me to set some goals. If you're good, then you're good. You can't force life goals. Being happy and content is more important than chasing something without a genuine purpose behind it. Don't live your life according to someone else's goals or ideas about what your goals should be. There's no point in complicating your life like that, and it won't end well. My current goals are to travel frequently and live a fulfilling life without compromises, obligations, liabilities, or debt. These are my actual goals, and I'm doing well with them right now, but I doubt they would meet the approval of a third party. Just be aware that choosing a goal may not align with your current condition. Story 123. Currently, I am focused on getting back into shape, building my business, and finding a relationship. The last goal is starting to feel like a distant dream. Story 124. I will be 30 this year, and my goals for my 30s are to invest in financial independence, potentially reaching semi-retirement by 40, getting fit, improving my social skills, finding a good partner, and having 1 or 2 children. I also plan to upgrade to a nicer car. Story 125. I want my self-improvement rate to at least keep pace with the internal and external degradation of my life. Story 126. Learn a skill that you enjoy. It doesn't matter if it's creating a garden in your yard or painting. It doesn't have to be strenuous work. Just do something you can show her at the end of the day. For me, it's woodworking with epoxy. It's lots of fun, and there are many projects I still want to create. Story 127. Do you remember in school how you were told to be well-rounded? Join different clubs, play different sports, and have different friends? Do that. Find a hobby or sport that keeps you in touch with other people. Be a part of that community and make friends. Set financial goals. You don't need to buy things. Make a game of saving money. It's fine to be in a comfortable career or job, but you need to decide how long you can do that job. What's your next career move? Also, consider your girlfriend. Someday, could she be your wife? What about a wedding or a house? Travel, what do you want to see in this world? What do you want to do? If you don't make plans and do something with your life, what's the point of being here? Your girlfriend doesn't want you to be stuck and boring. She wants to work toward the future with you. It'll keep you interesting and give you stories to tell. Story 128. Buy land, build a cabin, and relax. Get in better shape. Achieve financial security. Purchase my dream car. Story 129. Well, not quite 30. Between renovating a very old home, starting a family, cultivating a community, getting involved in local government, and revisiting some old hobbies, I haven't really set any goals while trying to maintain forward momentum in my career. It's pretty demanding just to exist while managing everything at home. Story 130. I have a house with a shop in the back. My goal is to turn that shop into an accessory dwelling unit, then rent out both my house and the unit. I hope to use the extra income to have enough money so I won't have to work until I'm 70. Story 131. Professional licensure, debt repayment, continued savings, and growth in my career. Eating better, taking care of my teeth, and reducing phone usage are in progress. Considering home ownership at some point. Experienced marriage, but it was unfulfilling. After all that, I plan to relax. Story 132. Most people, when discussing goals, focus solely on making more money. I couldn't care less about that and would prefer to spend time alone rather than disappoint someone by not pursuing wealth like nearly everyone else. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.